Yeah, hello, Prof here. I've got another video for you. You might be able to tell a bit about what it's about right there. You've also already seen the item get unboxed, but we're going to take a closer look. One update for you guys. About half of one of these, I don't know, I think there's bigger ones that are actually called contractor packs. But this bucket, like the bucket-sized GRK, I mean, because they make buckets that are like this, but like 4 of them or 6 of them. That's what I would consider the contractor pack. I technically don't know which size this is. But if you buy this size, about half of this, by the way, these screws really want to like intertwine with each other. Like once I got a few of them out, it like pulled the whole bucket of them out all over my bed here. This is, I gotta make up labels for this. Right now we're just using sticky notes temporarily. But also on the Milwaukee, you have to go below. Don't fill up past that little notch because that's where these press down into, right? So I could get a little bit more, but that's plenty to have at once. And these are the number 8 2.5 inch, so they're real skinny but long. They're about as long as you can get in this skinny, effectively. And I needed that flat head. These I got to put in like a bag or a little box or something. But with this, it pulls itself from the wood, which is normally good, except I'm not using this for wood. I'm using this for brackets, and it would pull itself into the plastic bracket rather than tightening to the wood on the other side. So I'm hoping, you're like, if this is the same length as this, that's why 2 inch, that extra ½ inch is going to give me a lot more purchase, especially if I need to use anchors, like if I can't go directly into a stud. But yeah, so if you have these, if you buy the GRKs, which this is basically, in my opinion, the screws that you should be buying of various, like the RSS, or I love their R4s right there. You basically don't need to get like deck screws or this kind of screw or that kind of screw. Their R4, it's all of them. That's why I can have one box with, kind of everything in there. If I end up needing other sizes, it may expand to be like one box cabinet and other, style, and then one box this style. But ideally, I want to keep this down to just the one pack out. Because we got bits here. The bits can go right down the middle. Could get like a little canvas bag to put them in if I have to, if I don't want them to go everywhere. And that should be plenty. Worst case, I need to figure out a way to put a separator in these guys. Because realistically, I'm not using more than a box of screws at once. It ain't happening. Or worst case, like, it's not going to kill me to go and refill it at that point. Right? I just wanted something like, rather than having, I had a box with all of these in, and I was carrying that around. This, you can just grab and take with you. It's not that heavy. And like I said, normally I would have my bits and have access to them, but sometimes it's far easier just to, maybe those are like the thirdary quality ones as well. But they do the job. That's the important part, right? So that at least if you take that box, there will be, what do you want to say, like, there will be bits and, not extensions, bits and stuff like that to be able to put it in, right? You can actually use the screws that are in the box. That's kind of what I'm getting at. Let's move that deburring tool out of the way. Let's move these screws out of the way. I just got to combine them. If you guys have a Mini or another Euro car that doesn't have a front license plate mount, take a look at the Platypus. They may have it for your model, they may not. Here's another thing that I kind of took care of last night. Is I need to go over it a little bit more, but it's way smoother there. I used that deburring tool I had just put over there to with the stainless steel cutter on it, to take that edge and even a little bit of this edge. Because what was happening is, because this was a perfectly flat plate that's put on this nice rounded piece, like right here it's nicely rounded. Over here it was just, it had, like, you could scratch off with that, or you could probably cut through a tie wrap with enough force. with that. I actually really like, if you want a traditional, like sometimes you need a traditional utility knife. These Fiskars ones are, and I've actually found them because of the blades. Actually, the blades are super nice. I would put them above DeWalt carbide if they can work in your knife. It'll work with most knives. It's just that it has this extra, because there's a slot, it locks into that square. They have like a scraper that grabs there. That's how they kind of get around having to have some crazy mechanism. The problem is for other things that do lock right there but don't use that square, like they assume it'll be flat there, like the tuck here, right, where you're pushing on the button is literally right where that hole is. And the okay, so this is a TK stash, not a tuck. But yeah, so yep, started on that. I just didn't finish it. You can actually see where it's already broken that. You can see it's shiny a little bit. That's where it's broken that lip. They really should have done that around the whole thing from the factory. Actually, it looks like if they would have put the other side, like this is the one with the lip is on this side. If they would have just flipped it around, like they cut it with their probably a laser, or they might have punched it, but it's like the wrong way, effectively. So why do we have all these out, right? Well, the reason for that is, and I even brought my OG iFixit kit out, and the reason for that is this vessel screwdriver set. There you go. We unboxed it on a recent video. I feel like white balance is still off from Google. I don't know what they did there. I've also just have weird OS crashing ever since the latest version of the... And it's like been better than a new update comes out, and it's worse now. You'll be like, oh, you've ever been here? Somebody's been here, it's been torn. Yeah, that was me attempting to open this and show it off and tease it in the preview video where I unboxed like the things that I ordered over like Black November sales and stuff like that. You know, I basically like this happened on last Prime Day. I got these guys. I just put it in either my save for later if it has a higher priority, or I want to like, if I want it sooner and I'm just waiting for a price drop, goes in save for later. Otherwise, if it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I'd love to add that, I was going to say to my collection, to my kit, to my repertoire, let's say, right? I'll put it in a wish list. And then when these sales happen, I just scroll through and see if any have. That's how you do Steam wish lists as well, guys. Any game that you're interested in, you know, and then you can actually sort by percent off and stuff like that. So this is the micro screwdriver set. I actually went over this in the previous video. Do not go off the picture. Flathead, JCIS. A lot of you are like, that's a Phillips. It's a JCIS. Hex, flat, hex. That is not the set we have here. I'm just going to let you know. If you go down here, right, this is number 9005, not 9005, 9005 PHP-BU. It has JCIS 1, 0, 00, 000, okay, quadruple 0, okay. And this is probably the cheapest kit from Vessel that has... I mean, like, there are actually more expensive ones that don't have the quadruple 0, even from them. But just like these guys, I bought these for JCIS. That is what these were bought for. So this is basically the cheapest set from Vessel, basically the creators of JIS and JCIS. Vessel is Japanese. The J stands for its Japanese Industrial Standard. And then the JCIS, I've heard two things. I have heard Japanese Compact Industrial Standard. Then for when this dates back to, some people say that it is camera, Japanese camera Industrial Standard. So that is also why you'll see all these with blue caps, because apparently in Vessel land, blue cap is JCIS, or what would be Monsieur Philippe in the US, except this is slightly different. It is more more, it basically doesn't cam out, very slightly modified, even less so than Pause Drive, which is Europe's Philippe. Very basic set, right? If you want some of those other ones, Vessel makes great screwdrivers. Be my guest and go and snag them, right? But this is a really simple kit that starts at, I'll probably call it, it even says P1. But for those wondering, if we go here, this also says P0. So even though Vessel uses, like they're the originators of JCIS and their stuff is JIS or JCIS, right? They still use P. Maybe for plus, or I don't know. I don't know why they still use P. Because, well, it may not matter because, like, they don't sell Phillips, right? And technically speaking, you can use a JIS or a JCIS in a Phillips, no problem. It's the other way around that you're going to find issues. And I actually found that out with, I think it's Dell. Could be HP, but I think it's Dell because I work on more Dells than HPs. And they actually, the JIS screwdrivers fit much better in there, turns out. And I was stripping way less things out when I switched to JCIS number 1 for their laptops. And I was also wondering why, like, the fitment, normally laptops are number 1 or 00, okay, when it comes to Phillips. The 00 always didn't fit right. And turns out this is probably why. It's because they weren't actually Phillips. They were JCIS. Now, there is some overlap, and I don't know. Maybe it's head size difference, right? I'm just pulling all these out here. This is not, I would not keep it stored in this. This is just cheap cardboard packaging. These are also not amazing. I would put these at or maybe slightly below the Wiha, like the really basic Wiha ones, which we also used at Geek Squad, and are good for like a really basic set of screwdrivers. But it's got a spinny end. It's fine plastic, but it's nothing crazy. And that's all I need, because I mean, if I end up having to do a lot more stuff that uses JCIS, you know, I can always get a Vessel. Definitely, for sure, makes a better model, right? It's just that this effectively was the cheapest model that had all the sizes. And what I mean by that is we go here. We got Philip number 1. See, once again, we have JCS number 1. We have number 0. We have 00. Right, that one's pretty common. Less common is 000, but even less common, and the reason why back in the day I bought my Craftsman Precision set was 000. And I'm actually gonna take you guys and run and grab it. My Craftsman set is kind of like in, I don't want to say disarray. It's in, if I need it, because like they're the Phillips 1 in that set is actually super skinny. And I can imagine like the screw hole on a fan. You can get it through the screw hole without touching the sides. The other reason why I don't normally use my Craftsman Precision ones is I have my Fellow set, and these can be replaced. And they are regular. That's why you see some that are yellow. It's because Fellow changed from red, which is often a Wiha color, to a yellow, which is interesting because yellow was always the ESD color. It is also the ESD color. I mean, it's everybody's ESD color, but you'll see a Wiha screwdriver in a bit that has this exact color yellow, but Fellow is just all of their stuff. So you got to be careful, because just because it's yellow from them does not mean it's ESD safe. It might be. but it's not guaranteed anymore. So I don't necessarily appreciate that. But in here, I have all of my Craftsman Precision ones, and they have been in here probably for a better part of a decade now. You know, they've seen some use, that's for sure. That was a big thing, was getting these Torx ones as well. A lot of precision screwdrivers back when I picked this up, and we're talking, what, late 90s, early 2000s, probably, for this kit. Some places poo-pooed these because they're not full shank. Apparently the set prior to this, which had much less sizes, was full shank. These also do have Allen, but only in American. So that's super useful for the more precise. So sometimes I do have to go back to this kit, you know. And one of the things I would come back for is right here. See that? Quadruple zero. Ain't nobody else. Well, Vessel apparently has quadruple zero JCIS. But here, let's go to my fellow set. Oh, here's the smallest one. What is this? It's a 000. If you can even see that. It's kind of worn pretty well. There you go, 000. So, yeah, that's the thing. So the fact that this had that, that was another thing I found with the JIS set, which is the Armor Guard, which is actually a lower end set. It had more sizes than Vessel's higher end sets, which was just kind of interesting. So, let me check here. I think I mentioned that LTT didn't have, well, they don't have JS at all. Unless, okay, so they do have quadruple zero. I think I gave them props for that in the original video. However, it is not specified if these are JIS or if they're Phillips, and I may have to message them sometime to try to get clarification on that. I think they're Phillips, looking at them. And that's where they could be JCIS, because, like I said, JCIS can work in Phillips, but Phillips in JCIS or Phillips in JIS will strip it out. Like people with Honda motorcycles will know that pretty well. Adjusting carburetors, apparently, even back in the day, this has been a standard for, like I said, that's why some people say the C in there stands for camera, because the however that word is said, my brain is failing, maker of cameras was Japan. And this, like I said, this set has everything from a lot of sets from Vessel will have like a long number 1, a long number 0, a short number 0, a short number 00, and maybe a 000. Right? That's what a lot of theirs are. It's the same thing with if we go to the JIS, this Armor Guard, or Armor Grip set I have here. It goes from 3, right, which is uncommon, 2, which is super common, 1, also super duper common. So that's where I don't know where the crossover from JIS to JCIS is, because this is a Phillips 1 that's a JIS. Right? And then we have a super uncommon one, JS 0. Right? So once again, that'd be this guy. So I don't know if it's like how big the head is or what there. But most of the kits that I see that include Phillips are 2 lengths of 1 and 2. That's probably what they run into daily. Now I don't very regularly work with it. So rather than having a super, not that these are not high quality, they feel great in the hand. You know, there's a little bit of, I'm thinking the shank probably only goes to here. You know, there's a little bit of smush there, but I'm sure that they would do what I need them to do. And then if I'm using it heavy enough where, you know, something does happen, I can then get a better one, right? Like these are definitely their cheaper line, but they were, to be truthful, they were actually, I think, the only line that had every size in one kit with the same grip handle and everything. Same thing here. These guys were the only ones that had all of these, and you saw in the box, it was hard to find because Amazon, often you're searching for the picture. You're using the picture to find what you want. What I ended up having to do to find this specific pack was go on Vessel's Japanese website. They do have a US website now, but I think the full lineup of these was not on there. And you can see here, this has got some flex to it, right? It's because you're not supposed to be going that way. You're supposed to be pushing down and turning. But I mean, these seem just as well made. At least the shafts on the same level as the fellows. It's the, yeah, that's where you pay for more or less as needed. And in this case, just have an entry level set. Now then, if it turns out like I need a certain size quite often for something I'm doing, you can always go to their more premium sets and make sure it has the size you want. Or I'm sure, like many other brands, they have singles that you can buy. You know, but like I said, I have now JIS and JCIS in every size, and I do encounter them. Now I've never encountered a 3. I've encountered every other size. So if you guys know what a JIS number 3 is on, let me know. I mean, I feel like I don't run into 3 very often, period, even in Phillips land either. Just because now, back in the day, like we're talking before I was born, you know, especially the 70s, they may not have gone to the likes of Allen or Torx. I don't even know if that existed yet, right? So you'd see a lot more of those big, fat Phillips 3s. There was something else the other day I was working on. I had to take the screw out on, and it was a Phillips 3. It was some sort of like a equipment, like you'd use it as like more of an adjustment than you would a like a fastener, I guess. Why is the iFixit kit here? You might have asked that. It's been sitting here the whole time. Well, I wanted to show that this older one didn't come with the black screwdrivers that I upgraded later because these got a shit ton better. This one would not, it was like wider than this. You can tell by the front here. It was just like super heavy and unergonomic. They used to be silver. I fixed it back when I bought this. They didn't have the whole blue and black design yet. It was silver, and mainly silver with black accents for all their stuff. Here, this is old enough that they didn't even have a Phillips 2-bit yet. That's why it's sitting specifically there, because I use it so often. And here's, you can't get this extension anymore. There are alternatives you can get that are linked in the description, more than likely. But what this is for is like, okay, well, yeah, that might be fine for like a laptop, right? But now, just with this in here, when I was doing on-site stuff, that would let me get a desktop apart, right? And yeah, you're like, oh, why wouldn't you just go to the car and get the proper tools? Well, if you're just popping a side panel off, like I would keep this in my was it the Mahi or the Mako, you know, like the smaller kit with the one that you guys are used to seeing, that was like the Linus Tech Tips I just showed you. Yeah, I could go out and get the you know, like this guy or the equivalent, because I have them as 2 separate sets. I prefer to when not at home. Originally, like this was only available with this. My grandpa actually bought me this. It was like a, hey, since you're getting more into this stuff and you're interested about this, let's just go to the website and pick out what you need. And got this. I want to say it was $50 or so at the time, and then a shit ton of pry tools. You know, like I think I still have one left from back in, because I'm too. This is I need to buy more of these specifically. These are the carbon fiber ones. I really like the carbon fiber ones. Yeah, this one's getting more and more beat up over time, but these last so much freaking longer. For the longest time, they didn't have them either. Like, they stopped producing specifically the carbon fiber ones. But seriously, like, at the time, iFixit was like, they started off selling other people's crap, just making it more accessible, and it broke. And then they probably got so much returns or so many complaints, and then they finally were like, okay, let's do it ourselves. Their first attempt on a lot of this stuff was just like better versions of existing stuff. And then once you got to this sort of blue and black era that you guys are used to seeing, like the Pro Tech Toolkit when that came out, when Linus used to do all the ads and stuff like that, even a bit before then, but like especially when the Pro Tech Toolkit came out, that had their new pry bars, that had their own cards that were thicker than normal like photo ID badge cards or credit cards, right? They were like a tougher material as well. They had guitar picks, except you can use standard guitar picks, but just they made them more optimal. You know what I mean? They started making them more bespoke than just like reusing or rebranding existing stuff. I still have this full set. This is the one that is in the toolbox. This is the one that if I'm in the house that I'm going to go to and grab. I did still replace because their 1/4 inch to 4mm adapter was non-magnetic. I replaced it with the Wiha one. Hey, look, Wiha handle. Lock that into the Centrofix, and then grab your, whatever bit you want. And in this case, let's zoom way in. Here's Monsieur Philippe. What's right up there? J. That's JCIS right there. So I'll grab a J1 and put it in there. There you go. Any movement you're hearing in there, that's literally in their adapter. Paisley, what are you doing? Yes, you just knocked everything off. Why are you even trying to go over there? That's Gertrude. That's Gertrude. You don't need to go by Gertrude. No. She's sleeping. She's Granny Cat. Yeah, you don't need to bug her? No. You also don't need to knock everything off my table. Or my cart. But, so this is where I was talking that, you can tell this is actually a newer bit. Because iFixit has a lifetime warranty. They will replace your bits. So here is the old style. And what they found is that didn't reach far enough in, right, into devices. Like in a laptop, that's not going to make it past the plastic. That's often why I will buy dedicated standalone screwdrivers like this. They're much skinnier. They're much more handy. So what they did is instead of having 1/3 of the bit be the bit, they made half of the bit be the bit. Then I went and I showed you guys, if you go back and check out the Linus Tech Tips Precision Set, they took it one step even further, and they made 2/3 of the bit, and only 1/3 the hex. And it really depends on your bit holder, because this, you can see hex shows and extends out there, right? Here, that's probably why they made the thing where it's like, oh yeah, we can lose like that much hex, right? So if you take the LTT and you put in the iFixit holder, it's below that line. Not saying that's good. I actually like the design of the LTT bits bore, because it's basically like this idea taken one more step, right? And in many cases, they're even thinner than both the old and the new iFixit bits. You can see here that the Phillips 2 is only in the new size, because it would have gone right there. Actually, you know what? I should probably just get my drill out sometime and pop a hole in right there. Center punch and burp, burp. And just do that sometime so it's not just sitting in there. Because I did it. Oh, this too, I had to drill out. I look up there to fit. Oh, let's zoom out. I had to drill out the 1/4 inch to 4mm adapter so it would fit, because it was like this 1/4 inch socket. You see how tight this fucker is? Jesus. Oh, it was like this 1/4 inch socket to 1/4 inch hex adapter. See how tight that was? Like, it just needed just a hair more. And it's not like, this is like a wood with a magnetic top. It's not like the plastic cases with the foam. that are meant to be like tumbling up and upside down and stuff in your... I actually don't know where my top is. I still own it someplace, but it's like one of those things where you take off, you leave off, because I put it in a drawer with tools and it exactly fits. But it was like this. You see in there? Like if I use this regularly, like the 1/4-inch socket drive to 1/4-inch hex, that's only spring retained, right? I would want a magnet retaining one because, yeah, that. Oh, apparently this one's upside down, and I need to do a. Oh yeah, that one's fucked. My 1.3 millimeter hex in here is lay fucked. And that's what I do. You'll see me do that with my drill bits as well. When they're bad, I flip them over, just so that I know that they're not good. Just had to use this semi recently. That's why it's got some rust on her. Apparently I didn't clean it off good enough. That's for hooks or eyelets. You know, because it goes over on the round piece, like here, and it goes and like that sort of thing. But yeah, I would replace this if this was something I regularly used. I think I have other ones that are better just in other kits, so I just didn't bother. But yeah, that's the big thing about this that I noticed between the... Right now, these are the only JIS bits that I have, which means, you know, fits in here or with an adapter. They're just, like, look at how skinny they can get. You know, here's just a, what is this, 00? 00 is, yeah, 00. You know, like, that is minute compared to that thing. You know, as small as that tip might be, the body of it, you just feel more confident. Like, it's nice having these like multi-bit, like iFixit kits or any of my other hex insert bits, just for like when you need something or you're working on something that needs multiple of them or you're only using it once. But nothing beats having like a proper screwdriver, right? And especially the proper screwdriver made by the company that made the standard, or just from a quality brand. Oh, so I'm not saying like a lot of my tools you end up seeing are like German or Japanese. It doesn't mean US companies can't make good tools. I have quite a few of those that I show off as well. I mean, it's just that nowadays it's very rare. You saw those Craftsman ones. Those were very, very good. I still have at every one of my workbenches, I think that's a 5/32 over there, right? I have, and you can see one over there, right? Still have one of those. I think I even have one in my PC building area over here too. Well, if I don't fuck things up, at least. Oh, what's that off of? It's always good. I think Chibi PC had that in it. Here. Burr, 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 burr. See? You can see how much I use it. I use it to the point where the chrome came off. This size is just super useful as, I was going to say a pry tool. Not really a pry tool, but sort of. Like to release clips, to take apart Cherry-Max switches, to all sorts of little tiny flathead screws. And minus like the chrome coming off through the metal under there is still fine. That one's all corroded. The opposite. You can see the chrome all kind of, I don't know. You know, maybe they got too much lube or alcohol on it or something. But like having a straight shaft here is super nice. And this vessel set, which I will put down in the description, I think between these two, you're set. Like if you encounter, well, in the way of if you want to just be able to deal with JIS or JCIS screws, between these two sets here, that is every size, right? And if you have, say, like the LTT kit, or we haven't seen and looked into this Corsair, this is on my list of video on LTT PC optimization and how it was so wrong, and then comparing a Corsair screwdriver to LTT and iFixit. So we haven't gone through here and seen what bits are in here, and they don't say on the outside. I got this quite a while back when I was ordering from Corsair, and it was like go above a certain price and you get free shipping. So buying this, was, in my opinion, was a bit more worthy of than paying the shipping fee, right? And I said I would take a look at that with you, and maybe that'll be a video coming up. But I wouldn't use this iFixit kit. I'd go get the one out of my car in my bag. That I don't know if it's the Mahi or the Mako, but that more lines up with the LTT and that that guy over there. I was wondering why there's like two smaller ones here, and then that's because those are imperial and these are metric. Gotcha. So even the OG iFixit, and I call this the OG, like the original one when they started making their own stuff, had like a big thing here is like you see all these are security bits, right? If you saw my Craftsman back then when I bought that Craftsman set, if you wanted to buy a security bit set, they were still serialized. Keep that in mind. So the fact that I could just go and buy this Wiha Power Blade set nowadays off Amazon, right? And look at that. All those, they just make them security now. Like if you go and buy a Torx bit set, generally, they're just going to give you security Torx. Same thing with Allen a lot of times. Like if you buy the full, like the 1/4-inch bit set from Milwaukee, you know, like the little insert bits, they'll just be the security ones. And realistically, unless you have something that you're going to have to put a fuck ton of torque on, you are just better off having the security ones. Whereas I have some kits that are security and not security. If it's an impact bit, I probably wouldn't get the security one because you shouldn't be impacting security. But even in some of these sets back in the day, they would have done, like if they were worried about, like, you know, because that's a fucking big hole you're putting in that, you know, structural integrity, they might include certain bits in security and then that same bit not in security and security. So, you know, it's I know LTT did a bunch with their nut drivers, if I recall correctly. I know Gamers Nexus, if you notice, I haven't had any of their tools. He made them, so he liked them. As somebody who's a bit of a tool nut, or a, you know, like I'm into tools, I'm into finding a thing that does the job better. The fit and finish on those, the way they were in the tool roll up, it just so much of it didn't make sense. Like it was so made for like a certain generation and type of equipment, right? That it couldn't do anything else. And for the price, I couldn't justify that because you could get better tools, better made elsewhere. iFixit, otherwise, or even just standard from your shop. You know, back when I could buy a fellow at Fleet Farm. Paisley Marie, what are you doing? Huh? Hey. I just had no interest. If I recall, they had some dumb stuff too, where it was just like they didn't have a Philips 2. If I recall, they had a Philips 1. And I'm like, bro, you need the Philips 2. That is like for a desktop PC. And they're like, oh, it's for taking apart graphics cards. And yes, the graphics card itself would have a Philips 1. But to get to the graphics card, you're gonna need that Philips 2. It's just a miss in my opinion. I don't know how well those did or didn't do. I just didn't see. There were so many skipped sizes. There were so many just missing. Like hey, yep, that'll take apart a graphics card, but it won't even get to the graphics card. Right there we go. There's a cute kitten. But yeah, if you guys have more knowledge or experience with JIS or JCIS, you know, throw it down below. The guaranteed way to get it is definitely through Vessel. They're available on Amazon. Just double check the seller. It's sold by Vessel USA. If it's sold by anybody else, Vessel USA, Vessel will directly warranty it. If it's sold by a reseller in the US, I believe they said that it's the reseller's job to warranty it. And if you're buying from a random seller on Amazon or eBay, how likely are they going to be to warranty it, right? Very unlikely. So sometimes, and I will see it, it'll be $2, $3, maybe even $5 more to buy from Vessel USA versus like whatever third-party reseller that is on Amazon. My recommendation is do it, because in the end, you know, when you need to warranty this guy right here, for example, you'll be able to. This is just an interesting size, real small handle. The other thing that I should say too, that JIS or JCIS is not necessarily only limited to Vessel. Other brands can do it. I don't know necessarily who. Like, I want to get some from Mako. I got to look it up. But they're now selling JIS insert bits. So, you know, like over here. But 1/4 inch, not 1/8 inch insert bits. Because they're so prevalent on modern Japanese cars. And they'll say like a little pack of them like this. It's pretty common to get them in this little pack with a top on it. You've probably seen them in hardware stores. And I want to pick some of those up, because almost like Milwaukee doesn't have a JIS, you know. And those might just be Vessel, because Vessel makes bits branded as Mako. I'd have to find out. But not Wiha, like this is, right? This is a Wiha. Vera, W-E-R-A, the green brand. Now, I don't know who made those bits, right? But when I was doing, I can't even remember the fucking thing anymore. Apple Certified, where we're repairing iPhones and all that shit, right? The handles, at least for Vera, were Vera, right? Vera. However, they had bits that went in them, right? And these handles were actually like torque. Each one went to a certain torque so that you wouldn't over torque stuff in the iPhones. You'd be like, well, do you really need to do that? I've seen people do it with iFixit driver. Yeah, you can. I'll just say that you will significantly increase your like reliability or your like reproduction of stuff if you're not, because like you might be careful and you know, like, okay, this one I just gotta go with, but other people just go Ugh! And at least when it prevents you from doing that, it just goes click and it doesn't go anymore, right? But those had JCIS bits for them, right? Now, I don't remember the packaging. I couldn't take pictures of all that stuff, right, back then. I don't know if those were Vera bits, or not, because they all came directly from Apple. Like, we would order them, and then Apple would ship them to us. And we not like very regularly, but you'd always want to have with any of these bits, because you'd have the panel lobes and stuff like that as well. I'm not sure who made all of those. I guess I've not looked super hard to see like if they're available, not as a part of that, but like I know other brands do make them, possibly by request. I don't know if Vessel's actually the one making them and then branding them though, or it could have been like, you know, maybe Apple standardized on the Vera screwdrivers. I do have one around here someplace. They have good tools. I just end up with Wiha stuff more than likely. I don't know, because like Vera stuff is a lot more like it all follows their like design trend of the green. Like you'll see it in like people's like Tool Check Plus. You'll see like these like they're always like super multi-functioned, can do all these things, yada yada yada, right? They're never cheap either, right? Often I would rather just have a solid single tool, right, than their tools. Also, like their bit holder is much bulkier. Like a lot of people like it, but it's even bulkier than what you're seeing here on the Central Fix. Like that's not a bit holder, but like the bit holder of this looks exactly the same. And this can be bulky in certain situations. So like, do I want something that's even bulkier? It's just a lot of their products work for a lot of you guys, especially when you're trying to do a lot in a small space. when I have the ability to have, like, or I'm not trying to buy like a kit that has everything in it, right? I can make my own kit. That's where it's kind of like I don't tend to like their stuff, right? Oh, and here you go. There's a fellow up there. I was talking a little bit earlier about, see that yellow fellow? That was for their comfort grip. So they had yellow as comfort grip, yellow as ESD. Other brands obviously have yellow as ESD because that's industrial standard. Usually when they're actually yellow and not ESD, it's kind of like when Snap-on makes things black and has to put on their not impact, because most people see that black oxide coating and think impact. Same thing happens where a lot of the things that are yellow but aren't ESD, they like very blatantly put on like not ESD on the packaging. So it's kind of interesting that fellow went to basically, I mean, like that color and that color are basically the same. If you get my gist, if you saw my drawer earlier. But forget where I was going there because I had a kitten left. Kitten was on top of me, then clawing me, and it like reset my brain box. Oh yeah, it wasn't back here. It's up here. So I do have a set of Wiha precision bits that I often will grab. I don't have the full one. I cheaped out because I already had my iFixit set. But these, there you go, Wiha, right? And these are the ones that OG Brad that does, there you go, TK. He designs TK stuff. He used to own TK. So you can see here, if I grab a T9, let me go over here and grab a T9. You can tell who iFixit was copying. Effectively, this style, this might even be a quarter, but that's sort of quarter to 1/3, the rest being a hex shank. That's been standard. But then you can even see on Wiha stuff, even they started slimming down a bit more, right? Now these are cheap. Oh, that's an iFixit PH too. I have these everywhere because you gotta remember, desktop PCs are Philips 2. This is a Philips 2 and a Philips 1, and you can see those are super cheap. They look like they're basically like what iFixit used to sell before they started having their own stuff manufactured. Yeah, because I never owned one, but I used one fairly regularly. Like an old school Skill used to make one too, where it had little rows of bits, like about this wide, and you'd have like, those are your Phillips, those are your hex, those are your Torx, and then that would be in a little case with your little screwdriver. That's effectively what iFixit based their, like they basically just branded and resold that originally, but that's where like that design effectively comes from. That's that horrible ROG Republic of Gamers probably came with one of my motherboards, or I don't buy Asus graphics cards, so it would have been one of my real high-end motherboards, and that I keep out because that's a magnet, like a really long precision magnet, but basically it's been reserved to a magnet handle because the actual screwdriver is bent. And you're like, how do you bend a molded screwdriver like that? By making it extra super shitty. Okay. And they actually, that might have not been for a motherboard. That might have been for like an upgrade card for a motherboard. Been a hot minute. But only these two came with it because these were like the 2 screwdrivers required to install that thing. Now that I'm remembering it more. But yeah, the screwdriver is actually bent. So it's been demoted to UR handle for the cool magnet thing. Yeah, that is a cool thing. If you guys ever find a place to buy that, let's go and take a look here. So this is just like, this doesn't even spin properly. And if you sit this on a table, see how it rocks back and forth? That's because it's bent. And no, it's not the magnet. The magnet's flat. This handle is what's bent. You can kind of see it there. See that? It's like bent right here. I don't even know how that fucking happens. But this guy, that's a little magnet. That's super duper duper useful. I had this well before LTT was putting that magnet on theirs. You can get even further in there. But yeah, it's because it's bent. It works fine as a handle, you know. But somebody did try it that was over here one time. So they're like, "Oh, precision one. I'll put the bits in there." And I'm like, "You probably don't want to use that one." And they're like, "Why?" I'm like, "It's bent." They're like, "How? What? How is it bent?" Exactly. That's what I thought when I got it out of there. But apparently, if you make it cheap enough, it's possible. The biggest annoying thing with this skill screwdriver kit is that they probably won't even have it anymore. They do. Oh, more images. Here you go. This is what, prior to iFixit coming to Best Buy, that is what I was issued there. Those are the shittiest bits. The screwdriver is non-magnetic. It uses that sort of spring lock holding for the bits. So not only would the bits fall out, they wouldn't stick to the screws, right? And that extension, also horrible, because it wouldn't stay in the screwdriver. But that is what we were given until I worked with the Auto Tech and got us a pair of separate Wiha, like a separate set of Wiha ones that was standard over there. That later became standard until the iFixit came into the store. And then we could just, that was just, enough people ended up store using it, which is like basically like the store just writes it off because you need it, that I think it was just eventually given as standard. Like every store gets one, or every Geek Squad gets one. Yeah, now some of the even earlier ones, we gotta look at like, the fact that this skill precision kit comes up in this good quality precision, is it because they put a B in there? It might not be. It might be precision. Okay, it might be that skill is precision. Precision. It's not precision, that's for sure. It's precision. And yes, I'm taking a screenshot, and yes, I'm going to blow this up and save this as a screenshot, and I'm going to be, undo that, Control Z. I want the square. Yeah, the fact that comes up at all, it might very well be precision, that's for sure. Now Best Buy just sells the iFixit kit. If we go up to here, precision screwdrivers. There you go. See, iFixit kits. A Hunk Star. That might be. I've heard that Best Buy has started doing third-party sellers again, which is just going to go god awful horrible. Here, this is, wow, the brand is called Stock Preferred. What in the actual fuck? Oh, there is no way to even sort it by, because I can tell you that Best Buy does not sell this shit. Or sorry, something went wrong. Yeah, like here, like this. It looks like a screwdriver kit you get at Home Depot, Harbor Freight. And actually, if you're a first-time homeowner or first-time screwdriver buyer, rip yourself up one of those. You can, like, dude, it's crazy cheap. It's not no $100. HarborFreight.com. Screwdriver set. There you go. $22 dues. Right there. Got the precision, got the big, got the bits. There you go. Don't buy that utter garbage off of Best Buy from a third-party seller that they don't tell you is a third-party seller. Just, there you go, Black Friday deal. If like seriously, if you need just screwdrivers and you don't have something basic, yeah, that's not portable, but that'll get you. Then if you break it, then you go right back to Harbor Freight, and they got their lifetime warranty, and you get it replaced, and then you go and buy yourself an Icon set, which is their top of the line stuff, or their Quinn, which is their medium line. Here you go, Pittsburgh Precision. This will get you through. $10. Right? As long as the big thing in here when you buy from places like Home Depot, who does carry iFixit now, but especially Harbor Freight, is the bit you need in there. That's the game we used to play. That's where iFixit came in, even when they were just selling other people's stuff, and then especially once they started making their own stuff. Like, you knew if you bought their kit, minus Phillips Quad Zero, that it would be in there. But look, you can't tell me that that's that much different. It sure ain't 5 times as much different. Yeah, there you go. Sold and shipped by... There you go. They do tell you it is a third-party seller right there. However, there is no way, like on Newegg, to go up here, brand, features, current deals, discount, power source. There's no way to go seller. Oh, they're trying to fuck with us. They are really trying to fuck with us. I did click on this one. This is knockoff iFixit right there. But that is because iFixit knocked that off back in the day. That is literally knockoff iFixit, like knockoff old school iFixit. Like we gotta go to like iFixit. What do we want to say? Like 2006 kit. I don't remember how long they've been around. Yeah, these have... There you go. There you go. That's it right there. There you go. Now, this is obviously the one that you guys are all used to, is this. There you go. That's their... Yeah, they even call it the iFixit screwdriver. Will it show up on their site? There you go. Where can I buy this? You're talking about that came in our old 54-bit set. Page not available. There you go. So this, if we go all the way back and we go to that, it was a TFBTV thing, I think. Where was that? Up here. Yep. So if we click on that and we visit it, I guess they're using it for gunsmithing because that's what TFBTV is. Why is it on a clinical dental website? What the fuck? And TFB is TFBTV, and that's 720 by 405. That's a size for a YouTube thumbnail. Off there. Yeah, there you go. Offer up. Unable to determine your... Piss off. But there you go. That's what their kit was. And I can tell you, if you went on... Look at that. The much like the knockoff iFixit, the bits don't even go on the handle. They go on an extension that's in the handle. Yeah, and then you got that guy, which is, like I said, that same knockoff here. There you go. And that is how, basically, they used to sell we had an older skill kit that's those same, whatever you want to call it, like little, like where it's like 8 to 10 bits or whatever, or 5 to 6 bits, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 bits. Like there's 6 bits pop. That was all over the place. They were basically taking this kit. That was world's most generic screwdriver back then. And yeah, it's they would just brand that as their own, right? And then the quality on that, as I've been talking about, that skill kit, right? Ain't great. So I'm glad we are where they are today, because basically this was available only like direct from China garbage sort of thing, you know. Like this. Why do they have Works screwdrivers at Best Buy? Yep. Nope, that one is actually sold by Best Buy. I mean, maybe we're going to be looking at a screwdriver in the next video, probably, that would pretty closely compare for about that same price. So maybe come back and check that out if you guys are interested. Otherwise, yeah, we'll see you in future videos if you hit that subscribe button. Have a good one, as always. Peace.